my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Stephanie, and in today's video I'm going to be doing a hallway makeover. I've been dying to do this for a very long time. I feel like my hallway is just so weird, so small. It doesn't have enough wall space, a bunch of doors, and I felt like it never matched what was going on in the living room with the dining and just the rest of the house. So I'm so excited to be finally tackling this project, and I'm also going to be doing it, of course, on a budget. I also want to thank Tailored Canvases for sponsoring today's video. Tailored Canvases is a company that sells all different types of art, home decor for holiday or for year-round home decor, and I love that they have a customization option for different signs that are for year-round and for holiday decor. You can change names and dates as well. For this makeover, I went with the silhouette portrait canvas, and I got two, one for my daughter and one for my son, and I think it goes well with the aesthetics of my home. I think they will add a nice statement to this small hallway. You can check out all of Tailored Canvas's custom signs in the link in my description. I also have a coupon. It's Joy15 for 15% off of your entire order. So before I can start on my project, I had to stop at Hobby Lobby during their 40% off their unfinished wood section, and I wanted to pick up two of these peg rails from there. And this is a small, weird space, so there's small wall space. So what I did is I measured how much I would need out of each of these two peg rails, and then had my husband cut them to size, and then I am going to be gluing them with some Loctite. And this is perfect if you don't have any tools and you just have some basic things like a handsaw. It's a perfect project to just add a little character to a very weird hallway like mine. So I am just going to add the rest of the peg rails, and also I'm going to be painting. So I did not want to spend more money on paint when I had a bunch of white paints. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mix a lot of the white paints that I have. They're all pretty much in the same color family, except for one is more of the yellowy creamy tone, which I used in my daughter's bedroom when we painted her room, and I believe it's called Cow's Milk from Glidden. And I mixed that with two antique whites, and then one is just a pure basic priming white color, and I mixed them all together in one can to make one white color. And I'm gonna paint all the top portion that white color. And then I did clean the doors and the walls and the trim, so that way I didn't have any issues with painting. I also covered any holes that were in the wall, and then once that dried, I went ahead and started painting. And then in the bottom, I am going to be using accessible beige. So it's gonna have the doors, the trim, and the bottom portion from the peg down is going to be accessible beige. So once I secured all of the peg rails where I wanted them with some Loctite, I am using some leftover trim that I had from when we added this trim to my daughter's room, and I cut it, well, my husband cut it down to size, and I'm just adding it on the top portion of the peg rail, and I think that just gives it a nice finished look. I really hate painting, yet I feel like I find myself painting more often than not, whether it's furniture or the walls. I am always painting. But this time I wanted to do it right, so I'm taking the time to tape all the door frames and the doorknobs, and also painting a border around, because I know once I get the roller going, the roller doesn't go all the way to the edge. And even though I'm painting the trim a different color, I still wanted to make the job easier on myself and just have the border areas already painted, and that way when I use the roller I would be done. So I did have to do 4 coats of paint because the paint is glidden, and I just recently found out by one of the Home Depot reps that glidden is basically, or the cheapest can of glidden is basically water based. So it takes way more coats than if you bought like the primer and paint in one. Even though it's a little more expensive, it's actually worth it. And now I see why. But these are old paints that I had and I did not see the light then. I see it now. So now I don't mind spending a couple more bucks on the primer and paint in one. At this point, I have 3 coats done, but already I see a difference. This hallway is already starting to look brighter, and I'm getting excited for the finished result. Once I was done with painting, I stopped in at Hobby Lobby to check out their frames since they were 50% off. I wanted something for the weird little spaces of the wall on one side, and I thought maybe having a small little frames with some artwork in them will look really pretty and not compete with the canvases because of their small size. So I picked these 2 up, and I just grabbed some images from Google and resized them and printed them out. And I decided not to put the glass
part of the picture frame because I want them to look like oil paintings. So I'm going to use some Mod Podge on them and have that dry, and it gives that really nice texture onto the image. And that's not something I came up on my own. I've seen this trend over and over on Instagram and on YouTube, so I just decided to join in on the trend to add a little bit of character to these prints on the frames. Once the Mod Podge dries, it gives it a really nice texture, and it also enhances the print. I was going to leave this gold frame alone because I think it looks lovely on its own, but I decided to add a little bit of rub and buff towards the corner just to see if I could see a difference, and it dulled a little bit of that shininess, so I thought that would be a little bit more of a nicer look. So this is what it looks like with the rub and buff, so I kept it. It's really hard to remove anyways, so let me know what you think in the comments. Was it prettier before? Should I have left it alone, or did the rub and buff make it better? So this is the moment I had been waiting for since starting this little makeover. I finally got to hang the silhouettes. I had them on here before the makeover just to make sure that I liked how they would be hanging in that section, and I finally got to add them, and I just love the look that they bring to this area. I also had intended for this candle holder from Hobby Lobby, which I got at half off many weeks ago with this makeover in mind, to be next to the canvases, but because I was going to have the little picture frames on this little wall here, I felt like I needed to balance the opposite side, so I added the candle holder on there, and I couldn't decide if I wanted a black candlestick or a cream, but ultimately I left the cream. Let me know in the comments as well which candlestick should I left in there. And here I'm going to be using some push pins to hang these picture frames just because I couldn't find any small nails to add the picture frames here so that they would be flush to the wall. So they kind of have a little bit of an vintage look where they look like they're wired hanged, if that makes sense. Like it has like that little wire in the back of the picture frame to hang, just because they look like they're leaning off the wall because the push pin is in the way. But also let me know what you think in the comments as far as, should I leave them looking this way or should I have them flush to the wall? This is my standard boob light here in the hallway. I added some black chalk paint so that the rub and buff would really soak in, and I was able to give it a nice vintage look. This is what the area looked like before, and this is what it looks like now. It was already dark by the time I finished decorating and just completely being done with this space. So lighting is a little bit awkward, but I hope you enjoyed watching how I transformed our really weird hallway into something a little bit more aesthetically pleasing and bright as well. It's not as dingy looking. Now I feel that it is part of the rest of the house and not a separate room, and I just loved how it turned out. I can't wait to decorate these peg rails for all the different seasons and with different knickknacks and things throughout the year. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, and if you're not already subscribed, I would love to have you here and be part of this lovely community. I love you all, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, day, night, everything, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.